I've spent most of my life, and perhaps you have too, believing a devastating lie. The lie that to be good, to be enough, I needed to eradicate certain parts of myself. Those parts that society, or even people I loved, taught me to see as insurmountable flaws. You know what yours are, don't you? Maybe it's your oversensitivity or your seemingly uncontrollable anxiety, your hypersensitivity that makes you feel everything so intensely, or that apparent weakness in asserting yourself. We try to hide them, to disguise them, even to silently hate them. But what if I told you that these very characteristics you try so hard to suppress aren't your weaknesses at all? That they aren't defects to be fixed, but rather portals. Portals to a strength, a wisdom, and an authentic power that are dormant within you. Get ready, because what you're about to discover will dismantle everything you thought you knew about yourself. Your biggest weakness is, in fact, your compass for your true power. And today, we're going to uncover how to access Think about it for a moment. How much energy have you poured into concealing those parts of yourself you deem unacceptable? That deep-seated shyness you meticulously mask with forced small talk, the persistent feeling of inadequacy you bury under layers of achievement, or the quiet fear of judgment that keeps you from speaking your truth. From a young age, we're conditioned to strive for an idealized version of ourselves, a version free from perceived imperfections. We're taught that these so-called flaws are liabilities, hurdles to overcome, or worse, reasons for shame. The world tells us to fix it, get over it, or simply hide it better. We internalize these messages until they become the very fabric of our self-perception. We curate our public persona, carefully editing out anything that might expose our perceived deficits, living in a constant state of vigilance, exhausted by the performance. This isn't just about surface-level insecurities. It runs far deeper. This is about a profound, almost unconscious internal conflict that silently wages war within us. We dedicate immense emotional and mental resources to this constant battle against ourselves. Imagine the sheer weight of carrying this invisible burden every single day. The exhaustion of pretending to be someone you're not, the anxiety of exposure, the quiet despair that comes from believing a fundamental part of you is inherently broken. This relentless self-critique drains your vitality, stifles your creativity, and prevents you from experiencing genuine, uninhibited joy. It creates an internal prison, built not with physical bars, but with the chains of self-judgment and the constant fear of being found out. The walls of this prison are made of comparison, of shoulds and musts, dictated by external ideals, not by your authentic self. This internal struggle often intensifies with age, particularly as we move into our 40s and beyond. The younger versions of us might have had more boundless energy to fight these internal battles, to mask these perceived imperfections with youthful exuberance or the relentless pursuit of external validation. But as we mature, the weariness sets in. The masks feel heavier, more suffocating. The cost of living an inauthentic life, of perpetually denying parts of yourself, becomes unbearable. We start to question the very foundations of our identity. Is this all there is? Am I doomed to forever feel deficient in these areas? This persistent feeling of being flawed, of carrying these weaknesses, leaves us feeling depleted, isolated, and profoundly disconnected from our authentic selves. It's a silent, nagging whisper that tells us we are not enough just as we are, and that our path to wholeness lies in somehow eliminating these unwanted traits. But what if this whisper is lying? What if the very things you've been fighting are the very things meant to set you free? What if the perceived flaws are, in fact, the raw, unpolished jewels of your unique brilliance, waiting to be discovered and integrated? This deep-seated struggle against our perceived flaws hints at a profound psychological truth, one that Carl Jung, the visionary founder of analytical psychology, explored with incredible insight. He understood that life isn't about neatly categorized, good and bad, strong and weak, light and dark, existing in isolation. Instead, it's a dynamic, ever-shifting interplay of opposites. And central to this understanding, a key to unlocking the true nature of your weaknesses is his profound concept of enantiodromia. Now don't let the word intimidate you. Enantiodromia, pronounced enantiodromia, is a fundamental principle of the psyche, describing the inherent tendency for extreme, one-sided attitudes, conscious orientations, or psychological positions to eventually transform into their opposite. It's the psyche's innate self-regulating mechanism, a natural compensation. Think of a pendulum swinging too far in one direction. Eventually, its momentum and the natural laws of physics demand it must swing back towards the center, and then to the other extreme. Or imagine a river whose natural flow is dammed for too long, creating immense pressure. Eventually, that pressure will build until it overflows its banks, finding a new, often unexpected, path. Jung observed this phenomenon repeatedly in his patients and in his study of human nature. He saw that when we consciously push one aspect of ourselves to an extreme, perhaps rigidly upholding a facade of strength or relentlessly suppressing a trait we deem undesirable or weak, the opposite of that trait begins to gather immense psychic energy in the unconscious. This suppressed energy, this unlived potential, eventually demands expression, often in an exaggerated, seemingly chaotic or even self-sabotaging way. It's the psyche's way of re-establishing balance, sometimes quite forcefully, when conscious awareness has become too one-sided. For instance, consider someone who consciously strives to be perpetually nice, accommodating, and avoids all forms of conflict at any cost, suppressing healthy assertiveness and anger. This individual might find themselves suddenly erupting in disproportionate anger over a minor issue, or consistently attracting exploitative relationships where their boundaries are repeatedly violated. The suppressed weakness of not being able to say no or assert oneself eventually swings to an extreme of bitter resentment, passive aggression, or explosive, unmanaged outbursts. The vital energy associated with self-protection and boundary setting doesn't disappear. It simply finds another, often unmanaged and destructive outlet because it was denied conscious integration. The people-pleaser might suddenly find themselves isolated, having pushed away those who truly cared by their lack of authentic self-expression. This is precisely where the profound paradox lies. The very force we are trying so desperately to suppress, the very weakness we are fighting with every fiber of our being, carries within it the seed of its opposite, a powerful, often untamed quality that, if brought into conscious awareness and integrated, could become our greatest strength. Your apparent flaw is not a defect to be removed, not a mistake in your design. It's an unintegrated potential, a potent, raw energy that is yearning to be understood, acknowledged, and consciously directed. It is a vital, necessary piece of your wholeness, waiting for you to stop fighting it and start understanding its true dynamic nature. It's time to shift your perspective from one of suppression and shame to one of exploration and fascination. It's about recognizing that the shadow of your perceived weakness often contains the very light you need to illuminate your unique path. Let's ground this powerful concept of enantiodromia and the paradoxical nature of our traits with concrete, relatable examples. When we truly understand the potential inherent in our flaws, we begin to see them not as fixed liabilities, but as coded messages from our deepest, authentic self, revealing our unique, potent gifts, waiting to be consciously engaged. Consider your hypersensitivity, for example. This is a common and often painful experience. Perhaps you've been repeatedly told you feel too much, that you're too emotional, too thin-skinned, or take things too personally. This perceived weakness often leads to immense suffering as you absorb the world's energies like a sponge, feeling overwhelmed by noise, crowds, emotional atmospheres, or the suffering of others. You might retreat, build walls, or try to numb yourself just to cope. But what is the opposite pole, the profound gift of that very intense feeling capacity? Profound empathy, deep intuition, and heightened perceptiveness. Your capacity to feel deeply means you can connect with others on a level most people can only dream of. You can sense unspoken needs, understand nuanced emotions, and offer comfort, guidance, and wisdom with a depth that is truly rare. Your intuition, a direct result of your heightened sensitivity, can guide you through complex situations, revealing truths and potential pitfalls that others, less attuned, completely miss. The weakness of feeling too much is the raw material for a gift of unparalleled emotional intelligence, compassionate connection, and innate wisdom. It's not about becoming less sensitive, it's about learning to honor that sensitivity, to set conscious boundaries to protect your energy, and to consciously channel it as a powerful tool for insight, creativity, and healing for yourself and for others. What about procrastination? Many beat themselves up relentlessly for this. It's universally seen as laziness, a lack of discipline, a moral failing. We postpone, delay, and then rush at the last minute, often feeling immense guilt and shame. But let's look at the other extreme of this behavior. Often, deep-seated procrastination isn't simply about laziness. It's a complex psychological manifestation of a profound need for meaning, originality, and genuine creative freedom. The person who habitually procrastinates on mundane, uninspiring tasks might be subconsciously rebelling against work that feels meaningless, inauthentic, or creatively restrictive. They might be waiting for the aha moment, for the perfect idea to crystallize, or for the true inspiration to strike, unwilling to churn out mediocre or uninspired work just for the sake of completion. This can be a sign of a highly creative, non-linear mind that needs intrinsic purpose and deep engagement to thrive. Their weakness of avoiding tasks can, when understood and integrated, transform into a strength of innovative thinking, a refusal to settle for the conventional, a deep drive for authenticity in their contributions, and a powerful ability to find novel solutions under pressure. It's about discovering what truly motivates you, honoring that deep wellspring of creativity, and structuring your life around that authentic meaning rather than simply forcing compliance. Or consider the difficulty in saying no or an intense need for approval. This perceived flaw often leads to chronic overextension, severe burnout, and simmering resentment. You constantly prioritize others' needs, fearing rejection, abandonment, or disapproval if you assert your own desires or set healthy limits. You become a people pleaser, sacrificing your own well-being for the comfort of others. But what is the root of this profound drive to please? Often, it's a powerful, unmoderated drive for deep connection, profound harmony, and a genuine desire for belonging. You might possess an incredible innate capacity for collaboration, a deep desire to nurture relationships, and a keen, almost psychic awareness of others' needs and feelings. Your weakness here is an unmoderated strength of compassion, interconnectedness, and a desire for peaceful coexistence. When integrated, this can become a superpower for building incredibly strong, loyal, and supportive communities, fostering deep trust within your circles, and understanding subtle group dynamics. The challenge isn't to stop caring about others or seeking connection, but to learn to care for yourself within that connection. To establish healthy boundaries that protect your energy and authenticity while still allowing your innate kindness and desire for connection to flourish in a balanced, sustainable way. And finally, social anxiety or profound introversion. In a world that often celebrates extroversion, this can feel like a significant curse, limiting opportunities and isolating you. You might struggle in large groups, prefer solitude, and feel drained by too much external stimulation. Yet, the opposite side of this extreme, when consciously embraced, is an unparalleled capacity for deep introspection, a rich inner life, profound observation, and focused concentration. Introverts often possess keen analytical minds, a vibrant inner world of imagination and thought, and a remarkable ability to observe subtle details and nuances that extroverts might overlook in their outward focus. They are often excellent, patient listeners, highly empathetic in one-on-one settings, and incredibly loyal deep friends. Your perceived weakness of avoiding the crowd is actually a superpower for profound critical thinking, innovative creative pursuits, and forming intensely meaningful, high-quality relationships rather than superficial ones. It's about honoring your intrinsic energy needs, creating a life that allows for sufficient solitude and quiet reflection, and recognizing that your quiet brilliance and depth are immensely valuable contributions to the world. These aren't just character flaws. They are raw, untamed energies distorted by our attempts to suppress them or by societal judgments. When we stop fighting them, stop trying to conform to an external ideal, and begin to truly understand their unique underlying nature, they transform from burdens into profound blessings, from weaknesses into your most profound, unique, and powerful gifts. They are the keys to unlocking your full potential, not by eliminating them, but by embracing them. So how do you reclaim these hidden powers? The journey isn't about eliminating your so-called flaws, pretending they don't exist, or even trying to morph into someone else entirely. It's about integrating them, bringing them into conscious awareness, understanding their original purpose and consciously redirecting their powerful energy. This is where the profound, lifelong work of individuation, the Jungian process of becoming truly whole and authentically yourself, truly begins. It's a journey of self-discovery, acceptance, and empowered choice. Acknowledge and validate without judgment. This is the foundational first step, often the most challenging because it goes against years of conditioning. Stop the internal argument. Instead of saying, "I'm so weak because I'm too sensitive, and I hate that about myself," try a different internal dialogue. "I am a deeply sensitive person. This is a part of who I am, and that's okay. It's neither good nor bad, it simply is." Validate the feeling, validate the trait, without immediately labeling it as inherently bad or needing to be fixed. This simple act of radical acceptance, of giving that part of yourself permission to exist, begins to disarm its negative power over you. Remember the Jungian principle: what you resist persists. What you acknowledge with acceptance begins to transform and integrate. This initial step of compassionate observation is crucial for moving out of shame and into understanding. Allow yourself to feel the discomfort of this acknowledgement. It's a sign of old walls crumbling. Observe without attachment or reactivity. Once you've acknowledged, the next step is to cultivate a stance of detached observation. Start noticing when, where, and how this weakness manifests in your daily life. Does your hypersensitivity surge in certain environments, e.g., noisy places, tense family gatherings, or even specific types of media, or with specific types of people? Does your procrastination appear only with tasks you deem boring, overwhelming, or when you feel an unspoken pressure to be perfect? Notice the triggers, the emotional and physical sensations that accompany it, and the patterns of behavior. This detached observation, much like a curious scientist studying a phenomenon with objective curiosity, is crucial. It pulls the energy out of shame and into curiosity and mindful awareness. Journaling is an incredibly powerful tool here. Dedicate time to simply writing freely about these moments, exploring what you felt, what thoughts arose, and what might have been happening beneath the surface, without censoring or judging yourself. Ask, what was this flaw trying to tell me in that moment? What need was it trying to meet, however clumsily? Don't seek answers, just let the question sit and new insights emerge. Explore the opposite pole. Uncover the hidden gift. Once you've acknowledged and observed, the real detective work begins. Ask yourself the critical question: what is the positive potential of this trait when it's taken to a healthy, integrated, or even powerful extreme? If I'm hypersensitive, what is the inherent gift or power of deep feeling? It's profound empathy, keen intuition, artistic appreciation, profound connection, an early warning system for danger. If I procrastinate, what is the gift of my resistance to action? It might be a deep need for meaning, a drive for originality, a strategic pause for incubation, a refusal to settle for mediocrity, or an innate creativity that resists conventional deadlines. Actively look for evidence in your past or present life where this trait, even in its unintegrated or problematic form, has hinted at a deeper strength. Perhaps your hypersensitivity, despite its challenges, helped you connect deeply with a struggling friend or family member in a way no one else could, or enabled you to create art that profoundly moved others. Perhaps your procrastination, on one occasion, led to a truly innovative solution discovered at the very last minute, precisely because you allowed more time for incubation and non-linear thinking. These hints are breadcrumbs leading you to your unique superpower, the valuable core beneath the perceived flaw. Conscious redirection and boundary setting. This is where the practical, actionable transformation takes place. Once you understand the hidden gift and its underlying energy, you can begin to consciously redirect its expression. This isn't about changing who you are, but about channeling who you are. If you're hypersensitive, you might learn to set stronger, healthier boundaries with emotionally draining people or environments, not to avoid feeling, but to protect your capacity for intentional empathy and to avoid becoming overwhelmed. You learn to choose when and how you engage your deep emotional antenna and when to retract it for self-preservation. If you procrastinate, you might restructure your work or creative process to include more periods of incubation or breakdown. Large, daunting projects into smaller, more engaging steps that tap into your need for meaning or creativity. You might even discover that working under slight pressure at the last minute is when your unique brilliance truly shines. And that's okay. It's about becoming the conscious manager of your powerful internal energies rather than being managed by them or allowing them to operate unconsciously. This isn't about becoming tougher or less sensitive. It's about becoming wisely sensitive, knowing when to open yourself fully and when to protect your valuable energy. It's about being strategically decisive, not just reactive. This journey is not about erasing who you are. It's about bringing light to the parts of yourself that have been left in the dark, often due to shame or misunderstanding, allowing them to integrate. It transforms them from unconscious saboteurs that create internal conflict into conscious allies that empower your life. It's the ultimate act of self-love, radical acceptance, and profound empowerment. What happens when you consistently engage in this profound work of integrating your perceived weaknesses? A fundamental, deeply liberating shift begins to unfold within you. You stop living in a state of exhausting internal conflict, constantly trying to be someone you're not, or believing you're inherently flawed. The immense energy you once spent on masking, suppressing, and self-criticism is now freed up, available for boundless creativity, for authentic, genuine connection, and for passionately pursuing what truly lights you up from the inside. Your self-worth becomes unshakable because it's no longer dependent on appearing perfect or flawless to the outside world. You understand at a visceral level that your unique blend of traits, including those once harshly labeled as weaknesses, makes you profoundly powerful, authentically unique, and deeply valuable. You develop an inner resilience that comes not from never falling, never struggling, but from knowing how to use every single part of yourself, even the messy bits, to navigate life's challenges, to learn from setbacks, and to get back up, wiser and stronger than before. Your relationships transform in unexpected and beautiful ways. When you authentically accept your own flaws and integrate them, you become more authentic, more vulnerable, and therefore more truly connected with others. You stop attracting people who exploit your unintegrated traits and start attracting genuine connections, individuals who appreciate your authentic self rather than the carefully curated version you might have previously presented. This creates a circle of trust, empathy, and mutual acceptance that is incredibly nourishing and empowering. You foster relationships based on truth, not pretense, and the quality of your connections dramatically improves. The nagging feeling of inadequacy dissipates, replaced by a deep sense of inner peace and wholeness. You no longer feel fragmented, battling parts of yourself. Instead, you experience a profound unity, a sense of coming home to yourself. This allows for genuine self-compassion and a compassionate understanding of others, reducing judgment and fostering deeper empathy for the human condition. You become less reactive to external pressures and more grounded in your internal compass, guided by your own truth, not by the shifting winds of external opinion. Ultimately, you transcend the simplistic, limiting labels of weakness and strength altogether. You begin to see yourself as a complex, dynamic, multifaceted being, constantly evolving, where every single part of you holds inherent meaning and immense potential. This is the essence of psychological liberation. It is the journey from fragmentation to wholeness, from shame to self-sovereignty, from hiding to profound presence. You stop living a life of perpetual defense and start living a life of empowered, authentic presence, confident in the entirety of who you are, knowing that even your perceived cracks are where the light gets in and illuminates your unique brilliance. This is your true power, finally unleashed. If this message resonated deeply within you, it is because a powerful part of you is already prepared for this new path. A part of you inherently understands that true self-love begins when you unequivocally choose yourself, when you prioritize your inner peace, even if that choice brings temporary discomfort or misunderstanding from others. This deep yearning for genuine connection with yourself is not a weakness. It is a clear sign of your innate wisdom, guiding you towards profound healing and transformation. Are you ready to truly see your weaknesses as hidden gifts? Are you willing to embark on this journey of integration and self-acceptance? If so, take this first powerful step. Leave a comment below and declare, "My weakness is my power." Let's build this community together, brick by intentional brick, supporting each other on this profound and liberating journey. If you found value in today's message and wish to continue exploring paths to inner peace, authentic living, and overcoming common emotional challenges, please consider subscribing to our channel. By joining our community, you'll ensure you don't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to help you on your personal journey. And to continue this vital journey of reclaiming your energy, setting essential boundaries, and fostering true self-respect, I invite you to explore our other videos on self-discovery and emotional well-being. Click here to discover more content that can guide you on your path to unwavering strength and lasting peace. Your journey awaits.